I got sick at the age of 5, and no one can explain what I saw. I woke up one day bright and early to get ready and start my day for school, but I couldn't get out of my bed. My body ached. My head was splitting, and the worst of all is I could hardly breathe. My lungs were burning like someone had put a hot iron down my throat. I can't explain to you the sheer agony of that morning. In every part of my body, my eyes peered across the room down at my pale white hands, and sweat drenched the sheets, and I moaned, "Mom!" She didn't hear me, which only made the situation worse. As my rapid cries, which were about all I could muster out of my lips, with the stupidity of a young kid, I decided it was in my best interest to try getting up again. I pushed my hands down, trying to hold my weight, and to no surprise, I was completely crumpled and splitted into the floor. It hurt a lot. I wilted out a mumble, and I felt the air crunched in my windpipe all out. Thankfully, the sound of a 5-year-old tumbling out of bed must have caught my mother's attention as she slammed open the door and hit the curve into my room at a turn that would make Del Irritable Jr. wet himself in jealousy. "Sweetie, are you okay? What happened? You look like a ghost," she cried out, coddling me. She immediately knew something was wrong when I gasped for breath and I couldn't even say a word. She scooped me up and plopped me in the car, and then we drove to the emergency room. The whole drive there, the lights from the sun blinded me as they danced across my eyesight. I had to squint to hold my head down to shield my vision. It felt like a 4-hour drive when it was reality only 15 minutes. When we arrived, I was escorted in by my distressed mother, practically crying and screaming, my baby can't breathe." The receptionists were quick to get a hold of me into a room, holding my mother back as she tried to claw her way with me. The hospital lights were intoxicating, but not like a euphoric intoxication. It was like walking up with a brutal hangover while you're still shit-faced drunk, spinning and ready to hurtle at any moment. I don't remember much of my early time in the room when it was filled with doctors screening everything and putting all sorts of machines to work. I felt like I was dreaming. I was in a haze. The world around me was slowly zooming around me. After a few hours, I learned later, they told me my mother, whatever was happening, was a total abnormal. They couldn't pin it to anything. I should be operating like a perfect, normal kid. For some reason, my body was fighting itself. They said it was like nothing they'd ever seen. All they could do was hook me on a reception and IV and hope I didn't die. Well, guess what happened? Legibly, I didn't die. For 20 minutes, my heart stopped and everything went dead. The doctors were in shambles, almost more than my mother. Nothing in this world could have made sense of any of it. And then I just sort of woke up. Biohazard, absolutely unexplainable. Almost that was all that they told me about what had happened. on the outside. Here's what I remember at the hospital after the room emptied and I was, quote unquote, alone. Remember how I said I couldn't remember much about when I was surrounded by a crowd of people? The opposite is true when I was alone. Right as the door shut, I felt a shock of clarity, more clarity than a random 5-year-old should have. I felt every corner in the room, every dark shadow that collapsed away. The light, I felt it all leave. I felt myself dissipate. I looked down at my hands and they were translucent. I was fading away like a distant memory. Air passed through my body as if it just wasn't there. I felt everything. More importantly, I felt something enter the room. The door remained shut, completely closed. Not a rat could squeeze its body through that crack. Yet, what managed to do so was not a rat. I felt a second set of eyes beyond my own open up. No, I didn't mean a third eye, or a set above my eyebrows. I mean, my eyes were opened, and they opened again. I glanced into the room and saw what I can only describe as a mass, a big one. It was black, divine. It was not angelic. I mean, I was peering into the abyss of a deep chasm that could never be escaped. Words shot through my mind. Tommy, are you alive? It constructed. I couldn't reply. Vass, don't die. Your body's not your own. Let me free of it, it proclaimed. With hindsight, there was something so vague about the statement. Let me free it? Free it from whatever is pleading me? Free it from me? And don't forget the most chilling description of myself I've ever had the displeasure of hearing. Val, as a young child would. I complied without knowing. Whatever tether was gripping me to this entire plane of existence shatter, both sets of eyes became one again. As I saw the slough shimmer into view, a tall, ghastly thing. It wasn't a humanoid in the slightest. There was a semblance of a body and a head, but beyond from it was nothing on earth. A stretched mouth wrapped around its torso, sketched with pin-like teeth. A block of fresh-coated and eyes sat upon its body, which I assume had to be a head. Witchy, stringy, and long hair covered its body like a winter coat, and long recyclable appendages poked from the blob it sat its head upon. No hands nor tentacles, just long stretches of flesh. It looked like a gaping wound in reality. Its mouth widened and blood-like fluid poured out from it, soaking me. In the split second when it happened, my surroundings vanished into pitch black. After this, I simply woke up with a message etched into my mind. Cherish, harbor, for none shall die before you. As I woke up, blood swept from my mouth, not like a cough or a drip, a giggle. Doctors were surrounding me, their eyes glued open in shock to my survival. The heart rate monitor was cold into now, and now I had twice as much blood in my system as before, despite their efforts from draining it. I missed school that day, and when I got back, everyone greeted me with cards and gifts, heartfelt words of joy that all I could hear for a week. But that message still rang in my head. It still does sometimes. It's the most vivid thing. I feel nothing else felt so real before or after. I've done everything to proclaim that feeling, and none of anything I've tried has worked. It's driving me fucking crazy. I've told therapists, doctors, friends, family, and none understood. A few days ago, I started to feel sick again. Something particular is that after that day, I've never gotten sick until now. It's like I was healed from all anthems and gained some type of super immunity. It started with a headache and a fever, and slowly is progressing into a pain in my chest. My heartbeat is irregular, as if it's beating twice as much. My stomach hurts, and I am struggling to digest food right now. I don't know what's going on, but I feel my mind slipping in and out again. This is why I've come to Reddit today. I've come to tell my story and ask you all your opinion. Was it a dream, or am I crazy? What was it, if it was in fact as real as I think it is? Am I going back? What's happening to me? I don't think I have much time.